hosted the second continuing education of the Veterinary Council of Nigeria. And we have our professional colleagues coming from far and near. Today we had about 400 physically in attendance and about 600 attending virtually. And we thank God that it's a huge success.
We are veterinarians, and I am very, very happy to, on behalf of the Veterinary Council, to keep the flag flying that continuing education is a mandate which we all signed onto during our inauguration, our induction into the profession, that we owe a lifelong obligation to continue to learn. So anything that will stop learning has ended development, has ended growth. So that the flag is flying is very good for us. I must recognize that there was a very big pushback on several platforms against the hosting of this particular CEP or CPD, because people felt we were good enough with the virtual program that we've been having, and we had one in July. And because this particular edition is also kickstarting the use of credit points for the issuance of annual practice or practicing license, APL. We have taken all your comments into consideration, but we know that for the benefit of the profession, this is the right way to go.
Veterinary Council of Nigeria, I want to say a very warm welcome to each and every one of us, those that are physical and those of us that are virtual, to the first hybrid VCN continuing education. Since we came on board, this is the first time we are having physical meetings. So once again, the protocols, our very amiable resource persons that have traveled far and near to come to Ibadan. The chairman of the continuing education committee and his very wonderful and committed team, very resilient, I must also say. Other council members that are here, present either virtual or physical, and our very eminent dean of UI, who is also celebrating her birthday this morning, Professor Olanike, the chairman of the LOC and her team that have put in this very beautiful place together to welcome our participants to Ibadan.
When you talk about veterinary education, I think you are on the right side. So developing these skills, that's why I said we need to open our minds. Most of the time as human beings, one of the things we see are the obstacles. Oh, the veterinary curriculum is already overloaded. We know how it is, it's bad and all that. But until we have an open mindset, we won't be able to admit to what we need to tweak. The broadening of our curricula, we need to broaden it. New teaching and learning strategies, addition of new curriculum content. We need to remove some to make room for those ones that are more important, that are adaptable to the 21st century. And those are conversations we need to be ready to take with sincerity. We need to have those conversations with sincerity. I was on the platform this morning, and of course we were venting, and I talked about the fact that Nigerians we are raised to compete, not collaborate. That is one of the fundamental issues we have in Nigeria. Territoriality, one-upmanship, and better than you. And we protect that, and those things prevent us from collaborating. So that's why I said I'll be as real as possible. There are some conversations we need to have if we want this profession to move forward. So we need to create opportunities for inter-university international study or experience. As we saw, Education is no longer in person. You can do hybrid. You can get professors from Harvard, from Stanford to teach vet students in Nigeria. It's just a matter of deploying technology. So our boundaries are only in our minds. So we need to open our minds to other opportunities. And if we don't have the opportunity in UI, why can't we collaborate with ABU if they have it there now? Because at the end of, well, I had a VC saying in Abuja, I don't know about that. And I have the microphone, you are the best of the greatest. This is where you are. So if we don't have the facility, we need to collaborate. So all this will require international institutional collaborations and imagine veterinary education in its entirety.
Key factors for veterinary process of administration is regulating, conciliating, balancing compromise and providing service. But compromise in the sense that you cannot say all or none. There must be issues that will arise in the course of implementation. You have to bring all parties concerned and look for a middle way to resolve it, as long as it achieves the objective you set for the organization. So a good administrator should have two main skills: personal skill and a communication skill. These are what the ingredients that are needed for a successful administration and management of any organization.
Carry out adequate, complete physical examination. Check all your peripheral lymph nodes. Check everything. There may be accidental findings that may also contribute to the state of the patient. So carry out everything. Not only that, do a blood work. Please, gone are the days where you just depend on symptoms alone in management of patients. I know some of us are practicing in some local environment and you may say, I don't have access to this. Acquire them over time. Be able to do a blood work. Basically, you should be able to do complete blood hematology. Is that okay? And please mind your differential. Your hematology and your differential. And two, do your biochemical kind of analysis, because, listen, you must know the state of the liver. You must know the state of the kidneys. Otherwise, whatever treatment you are giving, for instance, if the patient has a renal pathology, and you are giving drugs that are contraindicated for a patient with renal pathology, you will kill the patient. And it isn't the disease that killed the patient, but you are the one that killed the patient.
How will the veterinarians remain, relevant even by that year 2030, when the robotics supposedly will have taken most of the profession? Because I like when you now back and come out to say by that year, no single human being will be working in the bank. The robots will take over everything. Thank you.
Now, I think basically your comments have narrowed everything down to education. So I would ask the VCN, because if you look at it, that's where we get it right and that's where we get it wrong. So how does the VCN intend? You've done well, you started well, but we need a whole lot more. How do you streamline the curriculum of veterinary education to make it more relevant to present times? Now, how do you make sure, given the responsibility of managing your students, have the prerequisite knowledge in terms of present tense to be able to deliver to society the kind of veterinarians that they aspire for?
Should be open. One of my grudge is not going to talk about culturality, it's not about veterinary medicine alone, it's a Nigerian thing. There's no reason why we cannot bring Nigerian here to teach. What you don't have, you cannot give. And it starts from, even when we are talking about curriculum, we are preparing for the industry. Those were some of the things I did as the Deputy Vice Chancellor. Our curriculum should not be written by us alone. We should bring people from the industry and say, this is going to serve you. So if you are talking about doing things, then we need to do it. And that's why I'm talking about sincerity. When we are discussing. Let me give you an example. If Dangote goes to business school and give an hour of lecture, I don't think there's any professor of business that has the experience that Dangote will bring to the table. But yet we insist that if you want to pick a master's degree, you must have a PhD. So until we start dealing with some of these mantles, and that's why I say it's not only about veterinary medicine. But because we are here, we need to start talking to ourselves and telling ourselves the truth.
Please, that intussusception you showed us, you said you just retracted. But did you find out the cause of that intussusception? You should have told us. Thank you, sir.
And to the glory of God, my ancestors were also watching out for me. And I became a celebrity in town. The chairman paid my allowance. That was when we started MSS allowance. He paid my allowance. He said, you are doing more than the medical doctor. I will approve your allowance. And he did. But it was humility. If I had, became a doctor and I was, doing all this, the man would have shown me pepper. Because we had an engineer, because the chairman thought engineers were supposed to fix cars. And they had abandoned vehicles within the local government. So he brought a copper that was a mechanical engineer to serve. And they took him and said, go and fix the vehicles, and he couldn't. And when we are going up and down, going at Chicken Gary, they'll be calling the man engineer. And we didn't know it was soup. Mia is soup in Hausa. They were mocking him and we didn't know, and he'll be waving. Because
thank you to you all to say that with the lectures starting today, we know that we have a way forward, that these kids are going to finish their course. It's a shame we've had to wait so long. 8 months is a long time. So you need encouragement, but the students also need encouragement. So I want to plead with each lecturer, please encourage your students. Some of them have lost faith in the system. Some of them have lost faith even in their courses. So it's now left to us to encourage them. Some of them don't even want to come back. So for those who have come back, we will need to ask them to encourage their mates to come back and finish their courses. Because the last thing you want is people who start a course and never finish. So it's just a short visit, just to say thank you for coming. Thank you for starting lectures today. We're very grateful. And the VC sent me, he actually, chased me out of the office to say, go and greet them, go and greet them. Thank you very much.
It's something that I designed myself. It tries to explain in summary how a design of a farm should be when you want to handle your biosecurity issues easily. Where you have a lot of people coming to the farm, as soon as they get into the farm, they turn right and everything they need to do is there. The administration, people to talk to, everybody is there. From that point, you walk out. The moment you take your first turn to the left, you are going into the operational area. And the first thing you are going to encounter there is the feed mill. Then after is the feed storage. So you have no business going into the farm proper. And inside the farm, there are plots. Each plot will contain the number of big houses you want to contain. Then that arrow going up at that end is the incinerator. And then at this end, near the car park, is a processing plant. So that the moment you get your product, they are leaving the farm. They come out to the car park and they're taken out of the farm. So if you're just coming to buy pork, you have no business going into the production area.
To do that, what we will do is to try to attempt to design what I call the perfect dairy cow. Okay? The perfect dairy cow that can give you the maximum production. And now, like I said, I'm going to be biased. I'm going to talk about the exotic cow mostly. Okay? So, the designing the perfect dairy cow or dairy farm will have to start from the design of the farm itself. A lot of times, farmers and dairy producers call the vets in at the tail end, just when they started suffering diseases. But we should start with farm location, design, and the infrastructure in place. These are all important if you need to get this production to 60 liters or 40 liters of milk per cow per day. A good environment, of course, is equal to high production. protection from the elements, rain, sun, and everything. But above all, nutrition and management. Next slide. We are still designing the perfect cow. Now, a lot of dairy farms do not even have protection against the elements. Every dairy cow will need protection against adverse weather conditions, from heat to cold to direct sunshine and the rest. Next.
Change. This is another important challenge in equine practice. Horses, like other mammals, react badly to extreme of weather. So horses should be sheltered from extreme weather shifts. Some Argentine horses imported to Nigeria, especially in Lagos, they are kept under, in fact, they sit put fan inside the stable so that they can cool down. And so they wet them with cold water to check the temperature to avoid heat stroke. Another problem we have in equine practice is quackery. Quackery. This is a very serious and common challenge in equine practice. Some grooms, stable boys, and animal handlers, because of their confidence in equine handling and restraint, parade themselves as equine practitioners. They charge less, abuse drugs, inflict septic trauma, and cause death of equine patients.
I think we have made noise sometimes ago. If government, is ready to buy over either the animal that are sick or dead, the dead or sick animal will not find its way to market. Is there a compensation or a buying over? Because like you said, in Ethiopia that you mentioned, even Kenya, they buy over animals that are sick so that it doesn't go back to the market.
Actually, make some comments. I was part of a team that investigated or did surveillance on pig, even African swine fever in Oyo State. And we discovered that some of these pigs that are infected and were dying, because from what we learned, government has not been compensating them. So for that reason, as those farmers, as they are losing their animals, or they notice that the animals are showing signs, they decide to sell them, they just sell them off to people who will consume them.
My question is on diagnosis. On many locations where we are invited to farms to investigate disease conditions like this, when we take samples, we send it to NVRI. It takes forever before we get the report back. Sometimes the farmer must have even closed the farm. And maybe by the time the farmer struggle to restock again, or maybe the neighbor has a similar case, the farmer is discouraged to even report such condition, because in the first case, he never got a result, or if there was any result, it came very late. So I don't know what NVRI is doing about this.
In my village and even my state capital, people just start their pig with their poultry. Anytime, anywhere. Nobody comes to tell them that you need permission, this is not the appropriate place, or this is where you shouldn't do it. Nobody does that. If I just feel like starting a piggery now, I just build one. I don't care whether my neighbor has pigs. I can go and just buy infected pigs from somewhere and come and stock and start an outbreak. And moreover, some places you even see the pigs roaming the streets, eating from waste dumps. Being your brother's keeper in markets, I don't think that is going to happen here. So everybody is struggling to sell his own pig, and even the market authorities. I think that if all stakeholders are involved in the control of this disease, we should be able to get rid of it.
I do want to thank everybody for this session. Thank you very much. I want to believe that you have enjoyed this session, and I want to thank you so much also for this attending this CE. I want to believe that you've got value for your money. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming, and God bless you. Hope the next year you'll come again and again. Thank you. We want to thank also the CE committee. Thank you also. Thank you so much. We are so pleased to have you. God bless you.
and we wish you safe trip as you go back home.
It is high time veterinarians started to know that our field is not just dogs, cats, elephants, but then we are also involved in aquatic and wildlife medicine. And that is why this workshop or this continuing education is all encompassing. We have the wildlife section, we have the aquatic section, we have the public health section, and we have the equine section. So it is your choice. You actually attend what is your choice. And this is a unique one because this is the first time that this present council is organizing a physical continuing education. The participants should just go and do likewise. They have gone through so many training today, and I believe value has been added to them. So they should just go into their field, everybody going back to their workplace and applying what we have learned today. And we know they can never remain the same.
Veterinary practice is a profession. We are doctors of animals of all types and doctors of human beings in another way. Because what we do in public health, for instance, is to knowing fully well that most diseases in human beings, to the extent of 75%, are traceable to the sources in animals. So if we take care of animals and make sure they are healthy and good enough, and if we also make sure that animal products are safe for use, wholesome to eat by man, most of the diseases in man do not occur. So we contribute very well to a healthy population that is required for the development of the country.
This is the VCN organized continuing education. And according to international best practices, it is expected that every professional undergo continuing education annually to update their knowledge and skill. And so as veterinarians, the Veterinary Council of Nigeria is organizing this, and they do it twice a year to give people opportunity, those who miss the first one to partake in the second one, and without which currently they will not be able to register or renew their annual policy.
The approach should be multi-sectorial and multiple approach to improving dairy production. You know that most of our milk comes from local cows that are being kept by pastoralists around Nigeria, and most of the cows we actually have in Nigeria. But if we have to drive this number down, then we have to be innovative and create new ways. And one of the ways is that we have to have advanced dairy farms. By advanced, I mean farms that have cows that will produce 40 liters and above of milk per cow per day. The exotic breeds of cows are one of the solutions. I'm not saying we should discard the local cows, we shouldn't, but we should bring in exotic cows, do artificial insemination and improve the genetic makeup of our local cows, but also we should train local farmers on modern dairy farming and better management, because even with the local cows, instead of having the 2 liters per cow per day, with good management we can drive these numbers up. It's very possible.
The government with FAO had organized a workshop 2 years ago to get farmers, big farmers, together to let them know about the disease and ways to reduce the impact of the disease and how to prevent pigs from getting the infection. Anytime there's an opportunity, we teach our students in school how to manage the disease, how to control the disease when they are penetrated, they are practicing virus pathogen. And now that the Veterinary Council is also organizing this continuing education, and diseases like African swine fever have also surfaced, it is an opportunity to bring our graduates who are already practicing to become more aware of the disease and methods that they need to adopt in order to control it and control our pigs are coming ahead of it.
Again, you can have mass education between mass media. Right now there is Fisheries Society of Nigeria, Catfish Society of Nigeria. There are so many other proliferating societies dealing with aquaculture, but they are mostly at the mass media level. Sometimes these mass media organizations will filter down so that as they get more literate in the use of mass media, then learn more about the aquaculture farming its benefits.
Well, from what we have seen so far, I think the council is actually meeting to our expectation, because prior to graduation, some of us never knew that there is this kind of activity for the body outside the school. Right now we are beginning to see it. The Veterinary Council bringing us together, giving us continuous education. After the school, we come out to interact with our colleagues, old friends, senior colleagues, and we learn more things and incorporate new things that are coming up as the climate and everything is changing. So we are changing and we are seeing new things. So from everything, the expectation we are having here, we have done well.
Very good, and it's It's a continuing education. It's supposed to be a refresher's course. Some things you know, some things you don't know. Something you know that you've forgotten, and they are bringing it to your memory. And it's so very, very good.
Here because of this continuing education as a resource person in food. Maybe from my background, so looking to be a poultry expert. So my talk today was on management of the poultry intestinal tract, devoid of much use of conventional drugs. It leads us to reducing what we call antibiotic resistance. When you use more of drugs, it causes some problem for people through eating animal protein, right? That is the aspect. Telling people how they can manage the intestinal tract of chicken so that they will use less drugs in producing